The ash-gray landscape of Meridian 9 stretched endlessly, a desolate canvas of broken promises and forgotten hopes. Commander Kara Vex stood at the forward viewport of her tactical dropship, her emerald-tinted skin reflecting the harsh exterior lighting. Her cybernetic left eye, a gleaming silver implant that marked her as a veteran of 100 conflicts, scanned the terrain with mechanical precision. Rebel encampment located, her tactical AI announced, its synthetic voice devoid of emotion. Estimated resistance, moderate. Recommended protocol, total suppression. Kara's mouth tightened. Another day, another settlement to bring under Imperial control. The Arcturian Empire demanded order, and she was its most reliable instrument of enforcement. Her reputation preceded her, the warrior who never hesitated, never showed mercy. The dropship descended, its quantum stabilizers humming with restrained power. Plasma rifles charged, combat drones initialized, a symphony of technological violence prepared to execute its deadly performance. What Kara didn't anticipate was Eli Revan. He stood among the colonists, not with a weapon, but with medical supplies and a data pad. While others scrambled or prepared to fight, he remained impossibly calm. A tall human with deep brown skin and eyes that seemed to hold entire universes of compassion, he was documenting something, inventory, medical needs, human stories that would soon be erased. Their first true interaction was brief but electric. As Kara's initial assault team breached the settlement's perimeter, Eli didn't run. He looked directly at her, not with fear, but with a profound, unsettling understanding. "These are people," he said simply, his voice carrying over the chaos of charging soldiers and terrified colonists. "Not statistics. Not targets." Something in his tone, not a challenge, not a plea, but a pure statement of human truth, made Kara's cybernetic eye flicker. For a millisecond, her targeting systems seemed to hesitate. The colonists' resistance was swift but futile. Advanced Arcturian weaponry demolished makeshift barricades, neutralized defensive positions with surgical precision. Yet Eli remained, documenting, protecting the wounded, a lighthouse of humanity in the storm of conflict. As the settlement burned and survivors were rounded up, Kara found herself watching him. Most humans would be cowering, bargaining, showing fear. But not Eli Revan. He moved with a grace that spoke of purpose, of something deeper than survival. Later, during the standard post-operation debriefing, Kara's commanding officer, a granite-faced Arcturian named Corax, praised her efficiency. "Another flawless operation, Commander Vex," Corax stated. "You continue to prove why you're our most valued tactical asset." Asset. The word rang in Kara's mind. Was that all she was? A weapon to be deployed, a tool to maintain an empire's grip? Eli Revan's eyes haunted her that night. Not accusatory. Not angry. Just seeing her. For the first time in her disciplined, structured life, Commander Kara Vex felt something dangerous stirring within her. Something that defied her training, her entire existence. Uncertainty. The detention center was a sterile maze of reinforced walls and suppression fields. Eli Revan shouldn't have been here, a humanitarian caught in the crossfire of Imperial operations. Yet something about his presence defied the standard protocols that typically dictated such situations. Kara found herself assigned to his interrogation, a task she would have completed with mechanical efficiency mere weeks ago. But something had changed. Her cybernetic eye, once a perfect instrument of tactical assessment, now seemed to capture nuances it had previously ignored. "You're not afraid," Kara observed, studying Eli across the metallic interrogation table. Eli's smile was unexpected. "Fear is a luxury for those who haven't seen true suffering. I've worked in refugee zones across 3 star systems. Your intimidation tactics are almost quaint." His response was so far from the trembling submission she expected that it momentarily disarmed her. Beneath her armored exterior, something stirred, curiosity, perhaps. Or the first tendrils of respect. The circumstances of their continued interaction emerged through a series of escalating challenges. A sudden rebel counterattack disrupted the detention center. Alarms blared. Security protocols fractured. In the chaos, Kara and Eli found themselves temporarily dependent on each other's skills for survival. Eli's knowledge of local terrain and communication networks complemented Kara's combat expertise. Where she saw tactical challenges, he saw human connections. When a damaged communication relay threatened to strand them, Eli's improvisational skills proved crucial. Not just a pretty face, Kara muttered, watching him reconfigure a damaged quantum communicator. I could say the same about you, Eli retorted, his fingers moving with surprising dexterity. Their survival became a delicate dance of mutual dependency. Kara's imperial training had never prepared her for a partner who challenged her at every intellectual and emotional turn. Eli saw through her defensive layers, recognizing the person beneath the warrior's armor. Fragments of Kara's past began to emerge. She revealed the brutal training of Arcturian military academies, where emotion was considered a fatal weakness. Children were selected young, their potential for combat evaluated with cold, mathematical precision. Kara had been among the top performers, her cybernetic enhancements a testament to her perceived value as a weapon. Eli listened. Not with pity, but with a profound human understanding that cut deeper than any weapon. You were never just a weapon, he said quietly. You were always a person waiting to be recognized. Those words would change everything. The abandoned research outpost became their temporary sanctuary. Metallic walls that once housed scientific experiments now sheltered two individuals from different worlds, drawn together by something more profound than circumstance. Their first intimate moment was not a sudden explosion of passion, but a slow, deliberate unraveling. Kara's cybernetic implants made physical connection complex, a reminder of her augmented nature. But Eli's touch was different. Exploratory. Respectful. Each caress was a conversation, each kiss a negotiation of boundaries. I could hurt you, Kara whispered, her enhanced strength a constant consideration. Eli's response was to intertwine his fingers with hers. Trust is about vulnerability. Not just physical strength. Their bodies told a story words could not. Scars from Kara's military campaigns mapped her skin, each mark a testament to survival. Eli traced them not with pity, but with reverence. He understood that every scar was a story of resilience. The physical intimacy was intense, but the emotional connection was transformative. Kara, who had been trained to disconnect, found herself experiencing sensations beyond programmed responses. Pleasure became more than a biological function, it became an act of profound communication. Imperial regulations strictly prohibited emotional entanglements, especially with non-Arcturian species. Fraternization was grounds for immediate discharge, potential memory recalibration. Yet here they were, defying every systemic constraint. Their connection transcended physical pleasure. They shared stories, fears, dreams. Eli spoke of his work with displaced populations. Kara revealed the emotional suppression of her military training. Each revelation was an act of trust, more intimate than any physical connection. You're breaking every rule I was ever taught, Kara murmured against Eli's skin. Some rules are meant to be rewritten, he responded. The Imperial Tribunal was not a place of mercy. Polished obsidian walls reflected the cold judgment of military leadership as Kara stood accused. Her relationship with Eli had been discovered, a violation of multiple Imperial protocols. Commander Korax, her former mentor, looked less like a commanding officer and more like an executioner. You've compromised not just your position, but the integrity of our entire operational strategy. Eli was there too, not as a prisoner, but as a witness. His presence alone was an act of defiance. The charges were comprehensive, emotional compromise, potential information leak, violation of interspecies fraternization laws. Each accusation was a calculated strike designed to strip Kara of her identity, her very sense of self. But something had fundamentally changed in Kara. The woman who once would have accepted judgment without question now saw herself as more than an instrument of war. "I choose him," she stated, her voice cutting through diplomatic rhetoric. "I choose understanding over blind obedience." Eli's hand, almost imperceptibly, moved closer to hers, a gesture of solidarity that spoke volumes. The political ramifications were immediate. Her defiance became a symbol of resistance, not just personal but systemic. Other augmented soldiers, long suppressed, began to question their own programmed limitations. Kara's rebellion was not just personal, it was revolutionary. They chose exile, but not as a punishment. For Kara and Eli, it was liberation. A small research vessel became their home, neutral territory between imperial boundaries and independent space. Here, Kara's military expertise and Eli's humanitarian skills found unexpected harmony. They documented displaced populations, negotiated peaceful resolutions to emerging conflicts. Her cybernetic systems, once a tool of warfare, now aided medical research and communication efforts. Eli's network of humanitarian contacts provided them sanctuary and purpose. "We're not running," Eli would say during quiet moments. "We're redefining what's possible." Their love was a political statement, a living proof that connection transcends systemic boundaries. Kara, once a weapon of an expansionist empire, now became an agent of understanding. As distant stars marked their journey, they had found something more powerful than any military strategy, genuine human connection. They were free.